Yunagi no Machi Sakura no Kuni, or Town of Evening Calm, is a 3-chapter historical drama by Fumio Tono, taking a brief look at the way the survivors of the Hiroshima bombing lived in the decades afterwards, and some of the long-lasting effects and the way people coped with it. It's pretty dark, as you can probably guess. The 3 chapters all show a different generation afterwards, with each one being progressively a little bit less bleak and depressing than the last, while the overall tone still carries a lingering sense of dread from constantly waiting to see how the bomb's effect will come back into play. It doesn't go particularly deep into the characters or setting given the short length, but it does give an interesting take of what it would have been like, and the psychological and physical effects it had on the following years. It's just as much about coping with what happened as it is about what actually happened. The art sort of matches this, using a sort of loose and freely flowing line form for the majority of the manga, while sometimes getting more scratchy and sharp as reminders of the event resurface. I could see it turning people away from it if they really don't like this art style, but I personally liked the way they used it to its benefit. Like I said before, it doesn't go particularly in depth. You should read it expecting a skip into the mindset of an average person who'd survived something like this. If you go in expecting for deep information that you didn't know or an in-depth analysis, then you'll probably be better off looking somewhere else. The entire story carries a sense of quiet but somewhat hopeful sadness with a bittersweet ending. The first chapter was probably the most enjoyable, if not also the saddest, and to be honest, I do think the chapters about the later generations were a little less interesting, even if they did serve as a nice pick-up from the bleakness of chapter 1. There's a very interesting detail with the personalities of the characters and how it handles portraying the different generations without letting them get either too similar or too different. You can really see the contrast in how the generations act in a very natural way and recognize the effects it had on them. So should you read Yunagi no Machi Sakura no Kuni? Sure, if you're interested in this sort of thing. If you're looking for a very deep, in-depth look at it, then you'll probably be disappointed, but otherwise, sure, take a look.